In just one postseason run, Tyrese Haliburton has rewritten the entire narrative surrounding his name. He went from being voted as the league's most overrated player to being back in the conversation for best point guards in the game. He is on the cusp of leading the Pacers to their second finals ever and their first since 2000. However, it would be a lie to say that this road has been smooth for the 25-year-old phenomenon. Let's take it back to last year's Olympics. As a member of Team USA, Haliburton only logged 26 minutes the entire tournament, the least out of any other player. He didn't even see the floor in their gold medal game, which led him to promptly post this picture. An image of him wearing the gold medal, with a caption that reads, "When you do nothing on the group project, but still get an A." On the outside, Tyrese looked as if he was laughing it off, but deep down, he was embarrassed. He remembers thinking to himself, "I'm getting clowned. How do I respond?" Haliburton was determined to get back at everyone making fun of him. Unfortunately, he would spend the majority of the summer rehabbing from a hamstring injury he suffered in the Eastern Conference Finals, a grueling process that saw him entering the 24-25 season less than 100%. As a result, his productivity dipped. From the season opener all the way to the All-Star break, Haliburton was averaging 17 points and 8.5 assists on 45% shooting. Not bad numbers by any means, but it was a noticeable dip from his 20 and 11 averages from the year prior. Because of this, he would be failed to be named an All-Star despite being selected the previous 2 years. It seemed the wheels were falling off for Haliburton, and even he started to believe in himself. Upon learning he wasn't selected as an All-Star, he began to lose joy for the game he played. "Basketball has always made me happy," he said, "and for the first time, I wasn't happy." Determined to escape the noise surrounding his name, Haliburton decided to take a solo trip to Carmen, Mexico. It was here where he was able to take his mind off of basketball and focus on his well-being. During this time of reflecting, he decided to reach out to the Pacers mental health team, a decision that would completely change the trajectory of his season. He started to heal and began taking the necessary steps to better his state of mind. And what we saw post-All-Star break was Tyrese recapturing the joy he once felt on the hardwood. He began to play as if he had something to prove, and his stats reflected this. In the final 21 games of the season, he posted averages of 20 points and 11 assists on 53% shooting from the field. More importantly, his team was winning games too. The Pacers would finish the stretch with a 16-5 record and enter the postseason as the 4th seed. However, just as he was gaining momentum and finding his footing again, another piece of criticism would hit. An anonymous poll put together by The Athletic saw 14% of all NBA players rank Tyrese Haliburton as the league's most overrated player, a title no one wants to bear, and one that opposing fan bases would make sure he'd hear. It all started with Milwaukee, a team that the Pacers have had recent history with. In games 3 and 4, taunts from the crowd hailed Overrated whenever Haliburton had the ball, but he would get the last laugh. Indiana would make quick work of the Bucks, and it would all culminate into an epic Game 5 ending. After seeing his team trailing by 7 with under 40 seconds left, the Pacers would cut the deficit to 1 with a chance to win the game. The ball wound up in Haliburton's hands, where he would sprint down the court and make the game-winning layup to end Milwaukee's season. A play that would no doubt go down in Pacers history, off the heels of one of the better comebacks the league has ever seen. But even this moment of glory would be short-lived, as Tyrese's father John Haliburton would steal the spotlight. Mere seconds after the Pacers' victory, John was seen walking on the floor and began to taunt Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the league's most beloved players. This act caused a load of controversy and put Tyrese in a sticky situation. However, the young star couldn't have handled the situation better. In the post-game press conference, Haliburton acknowledged his father's wrongdoing and mentioned how he already spoke to him on the matter. Being able to defuse the situation without publicly crucifying the man who raised him is just another testament to his character. Moving on to the next round, Tyrese would once again be at the mercy of the overrated chants, this time in Game 2 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. On a trip to the free throw line at the end of the first half, Rocket Arena erupted with jeers aimed at Tyrese. Little did they know that they were adding fuel to a fire that was about to explode. Tyrese knew it, and even Donovan Mitchell did too, as he was seen attempting to quiet down the hostile crowd. Mitchell's masterclass of 48 points in the night saw his squad up by 20, but that would be erased just 2 quarters later. Similarly to their Game 5 win against the Bucks, the Pacers managed to overcome a 7-point deficit in under a minute, capped off by none other than Haliburton himself, who would score 11 points in just the 4th quarter alone. With the Cavs leading by 3 with 12 seconds left, Tyrese would head to the line for a pair of free throws. He sunk the first one, and looked to make it a 1-point game with his second attempt. However, he missed his second shot, but managed to grab his own rebound. He then dribbled out to the 3-point line, and would hit the go-ahead 3 over Ty Jerome to give his team the victory. This marked his second game win of this postseason alone. With this shot, Haliburton joined LeBron James as the only 2 players to have multiple go-ahead buckets in the final 2 seconds in a single postseason. Fast forward to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he would once again join elite company, this time with the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant. After rallying from yet another seemingly impossible deficit, 99.8% to be specific, the Pacers saw themselves down by 2 with just a few seconds left. Haliburton was entrusted with the last shot as he delivered in both rounds previously. Similarly to his game winner versus the Cavs, he would once again dribble out to the 3-point line and hoist a shot at the last second. The ball rose and clanked off the back of the rim before coming back down and into the hoop. Tyrese had hit what looked to be the game winner, but replay would indicate his foot was on the line. Regardless, his shot sent the game into overtime, where his Pacers would ultimately prevail and pull off one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history. He finished the game with 31 points, 11 assists, and just 2 turnovers, one of which being an intentional one with 0.2 seconds left in OT. Since the league started tracking turnovers in 1983, Haliburton is just one of 6 players to record 31 or more points, 11 or more assists, and 2 or fewer turnovers in a conference finals game. Everyone else on this list made the NBA Finals that year. But back to his basket at the end of regulation. This make marked his 4th career game-tying or go-ahead field goal in the final seconds of the 4th quarter or overtime, tying him with Kobe Bryant for 3rd since the stat began being recorded in 1997. Not only has Tyrese been ridiculously clutch, but he has been historically efficient as well. Following Game 1, Haliburton is now 12 of 14 on game-tying or go-ahead shots in the final 2 minutes of the season. This gives him a shooting percentage of 86%. For context, Michael Jordan shot 46% on these shots throughout his entire career. His playoff run has been one for the ages, and to say his Pacers are the comeback kings would be a massive understatement. In the last 28 years, NBA teams have a combined 4 wins and 1,702 losses when trailing by 7 or more points in the final 50 seconds. Haliburton's team has accounted for 3 of those in just these playoffs alone. In the last 2 years, he has accumulated 18 playoff wins, 5 more than what his former team, the Sacramento Kings, have won in the last 22 years. Speaking of his former team, let's take it back to February of 2022, when the Sacramento Kings traded Haliburton to the Indiana Pacers for a package that included Domantas Sabonis. Shortly after the trade went through, Haliburton went to dinner with Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle. During their sit-down, Carlisle revealed what his plans were for the young guard. He discussed how he wanted to give Tyrese full reign of their offense and take over as their prominent playmaker. Haliburton was more than ready for the challenge, though there were some growing pains to start off. From 2021 to 23, he shot 10 for 30 and just 4 of 22 from 3 on game-tying or go-ahead shots in the 4th quarter overtime. Despite the early shortcomings, Tyrese continued to put in the work, and it's safe to say that his efforts paid off. Fast forward to the present day, and he is now setting records and putting up clutch statistics that are only held by the game's all-time greats. It was baptism by fire almost, Haliburton said following their Game 1 win against the Knicks. Experience is the best teacher. Haliburton's resurgence this postseason should be an inspiration for all of us, to not look at failure as the end-all be-all, but rather a learning lesson, to make adjustments and continue to get better every single day, to keep grinding and putting in the work, even when it seems stagnant, and to not let others' opinions dictate you and your future. Just like Tyrese, you are the author of your own story. While we can't always control what happens to us in life, we are all responsible for how we respond. And in these playoffs, Tyrese Haliburton has responded to all the disrespect. Those same critics that disrespected him are now choking on their own words. Overrate that. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching as always, and until next time, peace.